Once they ruled the silver screen, they filled theaters. They defined desire, sharp suits, quiet stares, smiles that could stop a heart. Decades have passed, time has moved on, faces changed, bodies slowed, but something refuses to disappear. Tonight, we look again at the men who once seemed untouchable and discover what remains when the spotlight softens. The truth endures. Before we begin, we would love to hear from you. Where are you watching from tonight? And what time is it there? Tom Selleck. Once the ultimate television heartthrob of the 1980s, Tom Selleck defined cool with Magnum, P.I. from 1980 to 1988. His broad shoulders, easy grin, and unmistakable mustache became symbols of rugged charm and sun-soaked confidence. Now at 81, his hair is silver, his frame fuller, his movements slower. Yet that grounded warmth remains Bill Murray. In the late 1970s and 80s, Bill Murray rose from Saturday Night Live to big screen fame in Ghostbusters and Meatballs. His boyish blue eyes and dry wit made him an unlikely but irresistible leading man. Now at 75, his face carries deeper lines and softer contours, his energy calmer. The mischievous spark still flickers. Kurt Russell. In the 1970s and 80s, Kurt Russell became the effortlessly cool star of Escape from New York and Big Trouble in Little China. With sun-bleached hair, an easy grin, and laid-back confidence, he embodied relaxed masculinity. Now at 75, his features are weathered, his pace slower, his presence quieter. But the good-humored charm endures. Patrick Swayze. In the 1980s and early 90s, Patrick Swayze captured hearts in Dirty Dancing and Ghost. His blend of strength and tenderness, athletic grace, and piercing blue eyes made him unforgettable. He died in 2009 at 57 from pancreatic cancer after facing illness with quiet courage. Even in his final years, dignity defined him. John Michael Vincent. In the late 1970s and 80s, John Michael Vincent soared in Big Wednesday and the hit series Airwolf. With sun-bleached hair and an intense gaze, he became a television heartthrob. He died in 2019 at 74 after years of health struggles and seclusion. Time changed his path, but not the memory of his brilliance. Christopher Reeve. In 1978, Christopher Reeve became Superman, redefining heroism for a generation. His piercing blue eyes and commanding frame embodied noble strength. After a tragic riding accident left him paralyzed, he transformed into a symbol of resilience. He died in 2004 at 52, remembered not only for heroism on screen, but extraordinary courage in life. Alain Delon. In the 1960s and 70s, Alain Delon defined European elegance in Purple Noon and Le Samouraï. With flawless features, icy blue eyes, and distant allure, he became the gold standard of continental beauty. He died in 2024 at 88 after health struggles and a largely private life. His face grew deeply lined, his presence quieter. Yet mystery never left him. David Hasselhoff. In the 1980s and 90s, David Hasselhoff dominated television with Knight Rider and Baywatch. His tan skin, broad shoulders, and easy grin made him a global fantasy. Now at 74, his body is fuller, his stride slower, his hair grayer. He still embraces the persona with humor and pride. The confidence remains. Jean-Paul Belmondo. In the 1960s and 70s, Jean-Paul Belmondo redefined cool and breathless in That Man from Rio. His crooked smile and athletic swagger radiated effortless masculinity. He died in 2021 at 88. In later years, his features thickened, his stance relaxed, his energy softened. The playful twinkle never vanished. Marlon Brando. In the 1950s and 60s, Marlon Brando changed acting forever in A Streetcar Named Desire and On the Waterfront. With brooding eyes and raw sensuality, he became cinema's first modern rebel. He died in 2004 at 80 after years of reclusion and weight gain. His body softened, but his myth only grew. Robert De Niro. In the 1970s and 80s, Robert De Niro defined intensity in Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, and The Godfather Part 2. His piercing stare and quiet volatility shaped a generation of film. Now at 83, his hair is silver, his face fuller, his demeanor calmer. The fire is subtler but unmistakable. Burt Reynolds. In the 1970s and 80s, Burt Reynolds ruled the box office with Smokey and the Bandit and Deliverance. His thick mustache and mischievous grin made him the ultimate good old boy heartthrob. He died in 2018 at 82. In his later years, he grew thinner and more fragile, yet that playful spark endured. Bruce Willis. In the late 1980s and 90s, Bruce Willis redefined the modern action hero in Die Hard and later thrillers. His sly smirk, shaved head, and rugged intensity made him magnetic. Now at 71, after retiring due to aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, he lives quietly with family. His speech has softened, his presence gentler. The strength remains John Travolta. John Travolta. In the 1970s and 90s, John Travolta lit up screens in Saturday Night Fever, Grease, and Pulp Fiction. His smooth dance moves and polished charm defined a generation. Now at 72, his hair is thinner, his features fuller, his pace calmer. He chooses projects selectively, carrying warmth and resilience. Mark Hamill. In 1977, Mark Hamill became a cultural icon as Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. His boyish face and hopeful smile made him unforgettable. Now at 74, his beard is grayer, his features softer, his humor sharper than ever. He embraces voice work and character roles with quiet pride. Patrick Duffy. In the 1980s, Patrick Duffy became a primetime favorite in Dallas as Bobby Ewing. His gentle eyes and clean-cut charm defined romantic television drama. Now at 76, his hair is silver, his build fuller, his lifestyle calmer. He leans into family life and simple pleasures. The kindness still shows. James Brolin. In the late 1960s and 70s, James Brolin gained fame in Marcus Welby, MD, and television films. With dark hair and commanding presence, he projected steady masculinity. Now at 85, his hair is fully white, his movements measured, his demeanor relaxed. He works selectively and enjoys family life. Marcello Mastroianni. In the 1960s, Marcello Mastroianni became the face of Italian cinema in La Dolce Vita in 81-2. His soulful eyes and effortless elegance defined European romance. He died in 1996 at 72 after battling pancreatic cancer. In later years, his face softened, his aura grew introspective. His charm remains timeless. Pierce Brosnan. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Pierce Brosnan embodied suave sophistication as James Bond in GoldenEye and its sequels. His tailored suits, smooth voice, and piercing blue eyes defined modern elegance. Now at 73, his hair is silver, his features more weathered, his presence calmer. He paints, chooses roles carefully, and carries quiet dignity. Mark Harmon. In the 1980s and later decades, Mark Harmon became television's steady center through NCIS. His calm blue eyes and athletic build projected quiet strength. Now at 75, his hair is fully gray, his posture relaxed, his public appearance is rare. He writes and produces behind the scenes, embracing privacy. Timothy Dalton. In the late 1980s, Timothy Dalton brought a darker edge to James Bond in The Living Daylights and License to Kill. His sharp features and brooding intensity gave 007 a fierce sophistication. Now at 80, his hair is silver, his expression softer, his life largely private. The intensity has mellowed into grace. Lee Majors. In the 1970s, Lee Majors became a household name as the $6 Million Man. His square jaw and athletic build made him the ultimate bionic hero. Now at 87, his movements are slower, his hair bright white, his energy gentler. He appears occasionally, smiling at memories well-lived. Don Johnson. In the 1980s, Don Johnson turned Miami Vice into a cultural phenomenon. With pastel suits, designer stubble, and cool confidence, he defined stylish rebellion. Now at 76, his hair is salt and pepper, his features more lined, his demeanor relaxed. He continues acting selectively with seasoned charisma. Jack Nicholson. In the 1970s and 80s, Jack Nicholson electrified audiences in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and The Shining. His mischievous grin and intense eyes became legendary. Now at 89, he lives mostly in seclusion, hair thin and white, movements slower, expression quieter. The wild spark may dim, but never disappears. Clint Eastwood. In the 1960s and 70s, Clint Eastwood defined rugged American cool in the spaghetti westerns and Dirty Harry. His steely gaze and quiet strength made him a lasting icon. Now at 95, his hair is thin and white, his movements slower, his voice softer. Yet dignity surrounds him. The presence still commands respect. Paul Newman. In the 1950s through the 80s, Paul Newman set the standard in Cool Hand Luke and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. His piercing blue eyes and effortless elegance were unmatched. He died in 2008 at 83 from cancer. In his final years, his hair was snowy white, his demeanor reflective. Grace defined him always. Richard Gere. In the 1980s and 90s, Richard Gere became the ultimate romantic lead in American Gigolo and Pretty Woman. His refined charm and soulful gaze made him irresistible. Now at 77, his hair is silver, his face lined, his energy serene. He lives grounded in spirituality and family. The allure has matured, not vanished. Sylvester Stallone. In the 1970s and 80s, Sylvester Stallone embodied resilience in Rocky and Rambo. His muscular frame and determined stare defined action cinema. Now at 80, his features show decades of battles, his muscles leaner, his pace steadier. He continues creating with undiminished drive. The fighter remains within. Arnold Schwarzenegger. In the 1980s and 90s, Arnold Schwarzenegger dominated screens in The Terminator and Predator. His massive build and commanding presence were larger than life. Now at 79, his hair is silver, his physique softened, his stride measured. Yet his charisma still fills a room. Reinvention defines him. Chuck Norris. In the 1970s through the 90s, Chuck Norris became synonymous with martial arts mastery and Walker, Texas Ranger. His steely focus and disciplined strength set him apart. Now at 86, his hair is fully white, his build lighter, his pace slower. Health challenges have tempered him, not broken him. The toughness remains. Steven Seagal. In the late 1980s and 90s, Steven Seagal rose to fame with Above the Law and Under Siege. His stoic expression and Aikido mastery gave him a distinctive action presence. Now at 74, his frame is heavier, his movements slower, his beard streaked with gray. He lives largely outside Hollywood's spotlight. The mystique still lingers. Vin Diesel. In the 2000s, Vin Diesel became a global force through the Fast and the Furious franchise. His muscular build and gravelly voice defined modern action dominance. Now at 59, his physique remains powerful, though his features are more mature and lined. He continues leading blockbusters with steady intensity. Harrison Ford. In the late 1970s and 80s, Harrison Ford became adventure's ultimate face in Star Wars and Indiana Jones. His crooked smile and rugged charm were unmistakable. Now at 84, his hair is silver, his posture slightly bent, his expression gentler. Yet that adventurous spark remains in his eyes. Liam Neeson. In the 1990s and later resurgence of the 2000s, Liam Neeson commanded respect in Schindler's List and Taken. His deep voice and towering presence carried quiet strength. Now at 74, his hair is gray, his face more lined, his movements measured. He continues to bring gravitas to every role. Jet Li. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Jet Li stunned audiences in Once Upon a Time in China and Hero. His precision and disciplined athleticism defined martial arts cinema. Now at 63, he appears thinner after health challenges, his features softer, his pace slower. His calm spirit reflects wisdom earned. Samuel L. Jackson. In the 1990s and beyond, Samuel L. Jackson electrified screens in Pulp Fiction and the Marvel Universe. His commanding voice and intense stare made him unforgettable. Now at 77, his beard is gray, his energy steady, his authority intact. He remains a powerful presence in modern cinema. Keanu Reeves. In the late 1990s and 2000s, Keanu Reeves reshaped action cinema with The Matrix and later John Wick. His lean frame, brooding eyes, and quiet humility made him uniquely compelling. Now at 62, his hair is streaked with gray, his beard fuller, his movements deliberate yet powerful. He continues performing punishing stunts with calm grace. Dolph Lundgren. In the 1980s and 90s, Dolph Lundgren became unforgettable as Ivan Drago in Rocky IV and in Universal Soldier. His towering physique and icy stare defined formidable strength. Now at 68, after revealing a long battle with cancer, his frame is leaner, his face more lined. Resilience shapes him still. Denzel Washington. In the 1990s through the 2010s, Denzel Washington commanded screens in Training Day and The Equalizer. His disciplined intensity and commanding voice defined modern authority. Now at 71, his hair is silver, his movements steadier, his expression reflective. He continues choosing roles with depth and power. Antonio Banderas. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Antonio Banderas captivated audiences in Desperado and The Mask of Zorro. His dark eyes and effortless romantic intensity set him apart. Now at 66, his hair is grayer, his features softer, his energy composed. He acts with refined elegance across international cinema. Jackie Chan. In the 1980s through the 2000s, Jackie Chan redefined action with Police Story and Rush Hour. His fearless stunts and infectious smile made him beloved worldwide. Now at 72, his hair is white, his movements slower, his body marked by decades of risk. He continues performing and mentoring younger stars. Lawrence Fishburne. In the 1990s and 2000s, Lawrence Fishburne commanded respect in The Matrix and Boys in the Hood. His deep voice and authoritative presence carried intellectual gravitas. Now at 65, his beard is fuller, his head bald and silvered at the edges, his demeanor calm and assured. The depth only grows stronger. Chow Yun-fat. In the 1980s and 90s, Chow Yun-fat became a global icon through A Better Tomorrow, The Killer, and later Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. His sharp suits and restrained intensity defined cool elegance. Now at 71, his hair is short and gray, his build leaner, his lifestyle modest and quiet. The composure remains unwavering. Dustin Hoffman. In the late 1960s and 70s, Dustin Hoffman reshaped leading men in The Graduate and Midnight Cowboy. His nervous charm and sharp intelligence made him unforgettable. Now at 89, his hair is white, his posture slightly bent, his voice softer. He appears rarely, carrying warmth and wisdom earned over decades. Michael Douglas. In the 1980s and 90s, Michael Douglas defined ambition and danger in Wall Street and Fatal Attraction. His sharp grin and confident authority embodied power. Now at 82, his hair is silver, his features lined, his demeanor reflective after overcoming throat cancer. He continues acting with seasoned gravitas. Johnny Depp. In the 1990s and 2000s, Johnny Depp captivated audiences in Edward Scissorhands and Pirates of the Caribbean. His brooding eyes and rebellious charm set him apart. Now at 63, his hair is streaked with gray, his face fuller, his aura quieter. He works selectively in film and music, mystery still intact. Mickey Rourke. In the 1980s, Mickey Rourke stunned audiences in 91 weeks with rugged beauty and smoldering intensity. His rebellious charisma made him a symbol of desire. Now at 74, years of boxing injuries and surgeries have reshaped his face, his skin more weathered, his frame leaner. The fierce spirit still burns. Mel Gibson. In the 1980s and 90s, Mel Gibson defined warrior masculinity in Lethal Weapon and Braveheart. His piercing blue eyes and fiery presence commanded screens. Now at 70, his beard is silver, his features weathered, his pace calmer. He directs and acts selectively, carrying hard-earned gravity. Richard Dean Anderson. In the 1980s and 90s, Richard Dean Anderson became a household hero as MacGyver. His rugged looks and easy smile defined clever, understated strength. Now at 76, his hair is fully gray, his build fuller, his life mostly private. He steps away from fame with quiet contentment. George Clooney. In the 1990s and 2000s, George Clooney set the standard in ER and Ocean's 11. His polished elegance and confident smirk defined refined masculinity. Now at 65, his hair is salt and pepper, his face lined with experience, his presence more reserved. He focuses on directing and philanthropy. Leonardo DiCaprio. In the late 1990s and 2000s, Leonardo DiCaprio rose from Titanic to The Wolf of Wall Street. His sharp features and boyish magnetism made him a golden icon. Now at 52, his face is fuller, his build heavier, his expression thoughtful. He continues leading ambitious projects with steady conviction. Tom Hanks. In the 1980s and 90s, Tom Hanks became the everyman hero in Forrest Gump and Saving Private Ryan. His warm smile and sincere presence won hearts worldwide. Now at 70, his hair is gray, his features softened, his demeanor steady and reflective. He remains a symbol of integrity in film. Hugh Grant. In the 1990s, Hugh Grant charmed audiences in 4 Weddings and a Funeral in Notting Hill. His boyish curls and witty British delivery made him irresistible. Now at 66, his hair is grayer, his face more lined, his humor sharper. He embraces mature roles with self-aware confidence. Val Kilmer. In the 1980s and 90s, Val Kilmer captivated audiences in Top Gun and The Doors. His striking features and intense gaze made him unforgettable. He died in 2025 at 65 after complications from pneumonia following years battling throat cancer. Even in fragility, dignity defined him. Richard Chamberlain. In the 1960s through the 80s, Richard Chamberlain became television royalty in Dr. Kildare in The Thornbirds. His refined beauty and gentle intensity defined classic romance. He died in 2025 at 91 from complications of a stroke. In later years, his hair was white, his features softer, his presence gracious. Tom Cruise. In the 1980s and beyond, Tom Cruise became a global phenomenon in Top Gun and the Mission Impossible franchise. His boyish grin and fearless athleticism defined relentless ambition. Now at 64, fine lines trace his face, his hair darker but flecked with gray, his drive undiminished. He still performs daring stunts. Brad Pitt. In the 1990s and 2000s, Brad Pitt defined modern masculinity in Legends of the Fall and Fight Club. His blonde hair and effortless cool made him a cultural icon. Now at 62, his hair is silvered, his features more rugged, his demeanor calm and assured. He chooses projects thoughtfully. Charles Bronson. In the 1960s and 70s, Charles Bronson embodied gritty toughness in The Magnificent Seven and Death Wish. His chiseled face and stoic stare defined silent strength. He died in 2003 at 81 from pneumonia and Alzheimer's complications. Even in frailty, his screen presence remained indelible. Lee Marvin. In the 1960s, Lee Marvin commanded attention in The Dirty Dozen and Point Blank. His gravelly voice and hardened features defined rebellious masculinity. He died in 1987 at 63 from a heart attack. His His rugged image endured long after the spotlight dimmed. Burt Lancaster. In the 1950s through the 70s, Burt Lancaster combined athletic grace with dramatic power in From Here to Eternity and The Professionals. His commanding physique and confident smile made him unforgettable. He died in 1994 at 80 from a heart attack. His later years carried distinguished white hair and calm authority. Steve Reeves. In the 1950s and 60s, Steve Reeves became cinema's original Hercules, defining the sword and sandal era. His sculpted physique and heroic stance set the template for action stars. He died in 2000 at 74 from lymphoma. Even as age softened his frame, the pioneer's image endured. Charlton Heston. In the 1950s and 60s, Charlton Heston brought epic grandeur to Ben-Hur and the Ten Commandments. His commanding voice and noble presence defined heroic cinema. He died in 2008 at 84 from pneumonia and Alzheimer's complications. His later years were quieter yet dignified. James Coburn. In the 1960s and 70s, James Coburn exuded smooth cool in The Magnificent Seven and Our Man Flint. His sly grin and relaxed swagger made him magnetic. He died in 2002 at 74 from a heart attack. Even in later years, his lean frame and sharp wit endured. Kevin Bacon. In the 1980s, Kevin Bacon captured youthful rebellion in Footloose. His lean frame and sharp features defined restless energy. Now at 68, his face is more lined, his hair grayer, his presence relaxed yet vibrant. He balances acting with music and family life. Time changes faces. It softens edges. It slows the stride, but it cannot erase presence. The men you've seen tonight remind us that youth is only a chapter, not the whole story. Silver hair replaces dark. Lines replace smooth skin. Yet dignity grows stronger. True charisma never disappears. It evolves. And the brightest legends continue to shine, long after the spotlight fades.